relationship. Okay.
That's me. Sorry, keep going.
Okay, but the enemy will use pretty much anything as an obstacle to throw us off our purpose, to keep us in cycles, to keep us stuck, to keep us stagnant, right? If he uses the wrong relationship, that can keep us in the same spot for a minute, right? So I'm sorry, I keep losing. My phone keeps going out. Okay, the enemy knows the wrong relationship can set us up, can set us back spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. He knows that he can play off our emotions to keep us in year of toxic cycles, okay? If he cannot keep us in toxic cycles from that one relationship that ruined us, took us apart, he will keep us in unforgiveness, bitterness, resentment, anger, and rejection, right? Even if we don't fall into that toxic cycle, he can keep us in that. He can use that hurt to lead to bitterness, anger, unforgiveness, rejection. And the spirit of rejection alone can open up doors to demonic spirits, right? The spirit of rejection could attach itself to anything good that you have going in your life and sabotage it, right? Every promotion, every good thing you have, the enemy can ruin it just off of you not fixing that last soul tie, not coming into a place of healing, not coming into a place of repentance, not breaking the cord, right? The enemy also can use breakups to cripple you if you have a purpose in ministry, right? So if anything you're called to do ministry-wise, the enemy is going to work double time and throw every relationship in your way. I don't care if they 6'5", fine, and everything nice, right? Just because they show up in the prayer that you ask God for does not mean that they are for you. My grandma used to say, salt look just like sugar. That's what she'd tell me. And I never understood that until I got into soul ties. Now, why did I write a book on soul ties? Breaking the Soul Ties by Tremaine Wynn. I wrote a soul tie because God used soul ties to get my attention. I spent a decade in different soul ties with the same spirit and different men. So that's what makes me qualified to talk about this. Can you imagine a decade stuck, stagnant, just in the same cycle over and over again, not knowing what's going on? And I was in church while all this was happening, right? So one thing that the enemy uses is confusion, okay? When we get into a place of a soul tie, he uses confusion. That's the main thing he plays off of, confusion and deception. You ever slept with someone and developed their habits? That's what causes soul ties. For the people that say, oh, well, soul ties are not real, it's not really in the Bible. Well, you ever started sleeping with someone that wasn't your spouse, that wasn't your mate, that was just your boyfriend, your sneaky link, somebody you were casually having sex with? And you ever developed their habits? You ever got with somebody that had bad money skills and then all of a sudden now you have a poverty spirit on you? Have you ever had a food addiction, but then you find out the person you're sleeping with have a spirit of gluttony on them? You ever got with somebody that had a porn addiction and now all of a sudden you want to watch porn and you feeling lustful? They get angry quick and now you have a spirit of rage for no reason. That's a soul tie, because your soul is your mind, your will, and emotions. So when we're intertwining with people we know we're not supposed to be with, this is what it equals, a demonic soul tie. So point one, how to identify if you have a demonic soul tie. Number one, when the breakup happens, right? You can't stop thinking about them. No matter what you do, you cannot stop thinking about them. I always give this teaching on a soul tie. Imagine two pieces of white paper, right? Two pieces of paper, and you glue the paper together. The glue is the premarital sex. The glue is the sin and sex, because you're not married, right? So over the years or months or weeks, that bond it gets stronger. So when the breakup happens, what happens when you pull two pieces of paper apart? A little bit of the paper stays on one side and a little bit of paper stays on the other side. So now your soul is pulled apart completely, all because of the breakup. That's the example I give to make a visual of the fact that after you tear them apart, it's not the same. Only God can repair that middle, right? Point two, you feel like you cannot live without them. So when I was in my car and I was, getting my points together, I said, well, God, why is it demonic for us not to be able to live without him? He says demonic because the only thing you shouldn't be able to live without is me. Nobody, no person, no animal, no thing, no place, no material should make you get to the point to where you cannot live without it. That's demonic, right? That's the state that you become in. I get my points when I teach in my course. When it leads to you can't stop thinking about them or you can't live without them, you'll do things you never done because love makes you do crazy things. You'll stalk their social media. You'll ride by their house. It'll just be crazy. You'll try to link up with friends, looking on friends' pages. I'm only preaching on what I did. I'm not talking about y'all. But I was stalking friends' pages, trying to talk to the mama to see what was going on. That was in a place of you're not willing to even accept where you're at. That's like a mental craziness almost. I can't live without them. Point 3, during your source of pain in the breakup, all of a sudden the enemy will put a thought of happiness in your mind during the pain that you two had. When in reality, it's really your mind producing deception of what you wanted them to be or what you thought it could be, right? This is all the enemy's playground doing these points because it's all a mind thing. Okay, point 4, your entire life has shifted into a stage of depression since the breakup. You don't want to work. This is how you know it's demonic. You don't want to work. You don't want to hang out with friends anymore. You don't want to bathe. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to laugh, live, love, connect with people you used to hang with. You just want to be by yourself. Okay? They have a joke on Facebook going around say, oh, I need another good toxic relationship so I can lose this weight for hot girl summer. That's a whole curse in itself. How is that mentally okay to say, hey, I want a toxic relationship right quick so I can lose this weight? That's demonic and it's not of God. They have another one going around on Facebook. Forget being shot. I'm not going to say the words they use. Forget being shot, but have you ever had a breakup before work? Nothing should ever shift your mental that much until you can't do nothing. I'm not saying that you're not going to hurt, right? But it should never lead to a place of depression, a place of you don't know your worth, a place of I can't live without them. That means that you have made them your life, that you have ignored everything else in your life and made them a source of your life. That might be a reason why God removed them or why he turned their heart from you. Okay? Nobody in the world should have enough power to do any of that to you. That's why it's important to develop a relationship with God. Because no matter what, no matter how bad it hurt, God is going to sustain you through the pain and you'll still be able to live, right? That's how you know it's demonic because you shouldn't be at a state to where you can't live without people. You're in depression. You don't want to do anything. That's a problem. Point 5, you isolate yourself from others. Fellowship, be around people, tell them what's going on would be my advice, right? Don't shut off the world. The only way to get to a healthy place, right, is to tell somebody, tell a mentor, tell your pastor what you're going through. Don't allow pride to overtake you and just shut yourself in a room because the isolation is the enemy's playground, especially in your mind when you're going through states of emotion, right? This will actually drive you crazy and harden your heart. And that also opens doors in your life because when you're not around people, you start to talk to yourself and listen to yourself. So where's the God in that, right? Where's the people that you can surround yourself with that can help you through what you got going on, right? So the 5 points, if I'm going to jump to something else, was you can't stop thinking about them. Number 2, you feel like you can't live without them. Number 3, memories of happiness start to flow back during the pain and process. Number 4, your entire life has shifted into a stage of depression over one person. One person. Number 5, you isolate yourself from others. You shut yourself in. Okay. Now, how did this turn into a demonic soul tie? I'm only speaking off my experience, but if I can relate to you, that's amazing. The first place we mess up is women. When we meet a guy, we're supposed to date. Date is to collect data on this person. We're not doing any research on them. We're not asking them, do you even believe in God? Do you pray to God? Does God hear from you? Which God do you serve, right? What is your family values like? Do you respect your mother? If you have a child with somebody, do you respect the mother of your children? You're collecting data. If we get upset with each other, how does that look for you? How will you react? Will you call me out my name? Are you interested in sex before marriage? Is marriage a goal? That's where I messed up. I can't speak for anybody else, right? Right? It should take up to 7 dates to even see if a man is even consistent or really interested in pursuing you. Because 7 dates, nobody about to waste money on 7 dates. No man that it wants to invest in, any man that wants to invest in you is going to be a breeze to him. But that's how you really isolate the weirdos from your life. You go on 7 consecutive dates in public places. But me, my first date was Netflix and chill. And y'all know what that led to. My first date was Netflix and chill. And that led to the bedroom, right? That led to, I don't even have to try with her. That showed him right there, 7 days to see whether he wants you or not. Exactly. That led to him understanding that I had dad issues. Because please understand, any type of man that sits before you, what my husband tells me is, we know if you have daddy issues. We know if you have low self-esteem. We know if you care about yourself enough. We know if you're desperate, right? So at least 7 dates after you get all this data. You may have a list. If you gotta, recite the list in your head just to make sure you're on the same page, if you're not in the date, to keep yourself out of a demonic soul tie. If sex is the only conversation in the date, I don't care how good he looks, because the devil hear your prayers too if you ain't praying in tongues, right? The devil sent me everything what I asked for in my 3rd soul tie I was in, right? So the next step, how did this become a demonic soul tie? I ignored all the red flags God gave me. We want to have, as women, we want to have grace with people. We want to give people 2nd, 3rd, and 4th chances, right? Even after we prayed, even if we have a prayer life and God showed us, right? He showed us. He gave us the flags, and we are Stevie Wonder to the flags and turn them green. Oh, I can change him. Oh, he gonna shift for me if I take him to church with me. Oh, he gonna get better because I'm a good woman, so I know. No, because now at this point, after you ignore the red flags, you're in disobedience. Just by that, just by point 2, you in disobedience now. So now you telling God, I got this. Take your hands off of this. Okay. Point 3, you have low self-esteem. You don't feel worthy enough. You have no confidence, possibly no affirmations from childhood. Your father didn't set the standard. Not being taught by your words by even a man in your life in general. Low self-esteem is the main reason you can stay in a soul tie, right? And sometimes this links really with social media, because social media will set a standard that if you're not married by this age, if you don't have kids by this age. So now we're in a place to where we're like, oh my God, my self-esteem is low. I actually had a friend that said, I'd rather have a piece of man than no man at all. Maybe talk to his baby mama and stuff, but long as he come home to me. That's how low her self-esteem was. And he knew that, which is why he did what he wanted to do, because people know it's not hard to sniff out people in the room if you have discernment. So men really play their discernment when it comes to women. They know who they can play with. My husband said they separate us into 3 categories: hoe, homie, or help me. And then they go from there. So you shouldn't even give them enough time.
That's good. Tell them you did good. That's good.
I was like, oh my God, they put us in
hoe, homie, and help me. Wow. That's good. I mean, I got other points, but I had to say something like that.
Yeah, homie and help me. So you gotta ask yourself, the place I'm in mentally, right? Am I a hoe, a homie, or help me? If he only calling you after 9 or 12 midnight, you might be a hoe. If you can only hang with the boys, you might be a homie. If he just come hit it and quit it, so just do that for yourself. Hoe, homie, help me. Now I'm pretty sure he gonna be mad that I said this, but y'all needed to know. Childhood trauma, right? Seeing a toxic relationship in the home. This helps molds us into thinking certain behaviors are okay. I grew up in a religious home, but my dad also beat my mom, right? So we grew up, me and my oldest brother under me grew up seeing that. So it was hard for us to function in relationships. At least for him, it was. It was hard for me because I thought disrespect meant love. I thought if you put your hands on me, you love me, because that's what I seen. So if you grow up in that type of environment and you may develop, if you don't have a dad in the house, well, I don't need a man. I'm a strong Black woman, or whatever color you are. You may develop that mentality to where the trauma affects how you choose, right? Number 6, you thinking you can change them after you prayed to God about this person and he showed you their true character. My example is always this: you can never change anybody. Jesus gives us free will, right? Jesus doesn't force anybody, so we shouldn't force anybody either, right? You may be able to manipulate a man into thinking that you're the one for a season, but eventually it will fade away. I don't care how many prayers I prayed for God to make him be the one, for God to just get him and make him do what he was supposed to do by me. It never worked. Now, those prayers brought him back 3 times, but it was all the same. And God had to show me, you think you can change him? You go pray him back 3 times, and I'm going to send him back all those 3 times. And when I send him back, he going to act the same way until you get a clue. Because I'm one of those people, you got to repeat things to me. So that's how God had to work with me. Number 7, you're in a place of desperation. Like I said, off the social media, you're in a place, you may be over 30 or to a certain age to where you think, oh, it's not going to happen. I might as well go out there and make it happen myself. You may be in a place of desperation to where you think you're going to end up alone, or the enemy will put thoughts in your mind saying you're going to be alone the rest of your life. You might as well go out. Don't give into desperation. And number 8, the most important thing that we do, we rush God's timing. You cannot rush God's timing concerning you. God can see things we'll never see. God can see things way down the road, right? God can see your heart. God will not ever give us anything, right, that we're not ready for. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. So the 7 points on that, how to know what caused the demonic soul tie to grow or for me to stay in it. Number 1, I didn't collect data. Number 2, I ignored the red flags. Number 3, I may possibly have low self-esteem. Number 4, childhood trauma. Number 5, thinking that I can change somebody after God showed me. Right? Desperation after that. And then rushing God's timing. That's really something to think about. I tell my women when I teach Breaking Soul Ties boot camp, I want you to sit down and write your future self a letter, right? Of what you want, what you believe in God for. And then sit down and see what you believe in God for in a spouse or a husband. Is this the person that I'm entertaining now? I also tell them, sit down and write down the pros and cons concerning yourself. Am I 100% whole? Am I jumping into a relationship to try to fill a void? Am I running into the same man over and over again because I haven't broken a soul tie? Am I attracting the same guy because rejection can be on me, right? Low self-esteem could be on me. Am I going in these cycles for a reason? Because sometimes you have to talk to yourself and figure out what the problem is. It took me 10 years. Hopefully it won't take you that long to figure out, why am I attracting the people I'm attracting? Why do I keep repeating the same lesson? Write those letters, journal until you find yourself. I'm a scroller, so I write everything down. Ask my mom, I write my prayers down that I have to pray. So I would say journaling is like a place of healing where you start understanding this is where I'm at. And whatever you're believing God for in a spouse, right? Make sure you can meet half of that at least. Or can you be by yourself for a season? Can you be single for a season? Can you not have sex for a season? Yes, it's hard, especially if you dipped into it outside of marriage. Can God get you to a place to where he can completely work on you? So where he can transform you completely? Can you wait on God? It took me 18 months to break free from 10 years of soul ties, right? But I sat down, I stopped dating, because my remedy to even breaking soul ties was getting under one man to get over another. And I was stacking them like hotcakes doing it. I'm always transparent because people need to see transparency. I will never forget what God brought me from as far as soul ties. I will never forget, because he's an amazing God. Y'all could just cry thinking about it. So don't ever let the enemy make you think that you don't deserve the best that God has for you in these soul ties. I want y'all to go home and think about the people that you stopped having sex with and that you forgot about long ago, but you didn't do the work needed to break completely free from them. That's what we're going to talk about next week. These points should help you identify, right, what's going on and if I even have them. When you move it on, sometimes when you move it on, they pop right back up. That's a soul tie. Ain't no way you and Billy ain't talked for 2 years now. All of a sudden, he didn't pop back up. That means it's still a connection somewhere. But I'm getting into my message for next week. But that's all I have for y'all today. So I hope I did good because I'm very quick. I'm very quick with my stuff. I'm very quick. But if y'all have questions or anything else y'all want to talk about, I'm here for Q&A. Now I can do that forever. Mom, I'm very fast. I'm to the
Yeah,
point.
I know. I knew it was gonna be quick and fast. It's gonna go. She did good. Somebody said simple and straight to the point. Any questions from the 7 points? When I say it's so good, the different points of recognition of recognizing how you have a soul tie with somebody. Okay. I had my question. I should have wrote it down, but I'm doing so much at the same time. I'm trying to write that. Anybody got any questions, any comments? Anybody want to piggyback on anything? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
That part. This is what I didn't say. I have one idea.
Go ahead.
You forget to put this in there. The reason soul tie, the reason sex is for marriage, because that's when you become one flesh, right? That's what I forgot to say. Okay, because two become one flesh per marriage. So what do you think happens when you lay and play with different sexual partners? Okay, that means when you lay down with them, you're coming into a spiritual covenant with whatever is on them, whatever their bloodline is. People think it is so simple to lay down and have a few minutes of pleasure, but you're laying down with everything attached to them, everybody they slept with before you, and vice versa. Now you have a soul tie with not just them, but with their bloodline, with people they didn't lay down with people you didn't lay down with, because sex is clearly just for marriage. Well, how can I say that? I did it. And you need a lot of deliverance when you get to a place to where you just tie yourself spiritually with everybody. You get to a place where I needed all types of deliverance. Soul ties with them and everybody that they done slept with and who melted. Yes, that's exactly how I go. And then everybody running around here wondering why they crazy, because you tied to everybody else. You can't have no peace. You cannot have no peace. That's why God created sex for marriage. I wish I would have been obedient back then and just sat down. God slapped me with a slipper with my last soul tie and said, if you don't sit down, I'm going to let the enemy have his way. And that's what set me down. That's what set me down. That soul tie almost put me on the 10th tower at the mental ward.
My God.
That's how bad soul ties can get, because sometimes God will let you do what you want to do, right? And then you eventually gonna come back to him anyway. So he just let me be in the disobedient street. How long can it take to get rid of soul ties, to leave or to get rid of them? However long you want it to take.
Sure choice.
It's a breaking a soul tie is a decision. No matter how you feel, no matter what emotions you're going through, you have to make a sound and mind decision with God that I want to get out of this. I want to turn away from my wicked ways and walk the straight and narrow. And if you're willing to complete the step back to that cycle out of desperation, out of low self-esteem, it's going to work. But we're getting into how to break them next week. I'm end up talking a whole nother hour.
It's good.
So yeah, I'm very quick to the point. Next week will probably be longer. I'll probably do about an hour or so. But this week I just wanted to get to the identification. So you have a whole week to think about, am I still attached to this?
I'm gonna add to her for those because yes, sex is a main way. And then there are those that I know have an emotional tie to people. It could be female to female, be male to male. That means they'll jump the gun. It's like they feel for this person, and they may not have never laid with them. But that's where the demonic ties come in. And I would say this, I would add to everything she has said, literally lay the foundation. If anything is keeping you, if that person keeps you from God and doing the things that God has orchestrated in your life, your visions, if it's keeping you from going to school, if it's from keeping you from being with your family, if they're keeping you from just doing what's, here we go, morally right, even just right things, that is the wrong, that is a demonic, worldly, the name toxic, dysfunctional, anything that's tied that keeps you, and what ties do, they keep us bound. They keep us intertwined with satanic forms and basically keep you out of purpose. They keep you out of, like you said, a whole decade. Keep you out of the will. It kept her from her husband. It keep her from her purpose partner, the one, and that's what happens. The enemy uses people. God uses people. So this is where our discernment has to heighten, and we have to be very, like you said, that's my excellent question. It is, everything is a choice. Everything is a decision. How bad do I want to get out of this? How bad do I want to get in my rightful position with God? So then I have to do a checklist and say, okay, check myself first, and then I'm going to check who's connected to me, because a tie is a connection. Some people can be attached to you, but like we said, court, it's attached to it. My phone is charging, but the connection comes from the power source.
Yes.
So you can be attached to people, but the tie is the power. Who got power over your mind? That's where the power is. They got power over your mind, power to make you do Bonnie and Clyde stuff. Yeah, and that's where I think you said trauma affects your, I love when you said that. Trauma affects your decision making. You really did. I think somebody just wrote, you did. Wrong decisions can affect seasons of your life. And what it is, we can go about life sometimes thinking that's right, but then when you really get healed and whole and get into a place of, as she says, solitude, where it's just be you and the Lord, and your season don't have to be a whole, it don't have to be a whole fall. It could be, your season could be 3 days, 3 months, or 3 years. 3 weeks, I forgot. Your season, our seasons are up to our obedience. So, a lot of us have short seasons, long seasons, quick. And it really depends. As I was driving today, just like what she was driving, it's really, where is our faith at? And your faith is nothing but hope in something that I cannot see. Do I believe what I am saying? Do I believe that once I walk out this door, I'm not going to turn it back? Do I believe that me letting this person go out of my life, am I going to be better? Do I believe that once I do this, everything else, it's about the matters of the heart. Any questions, y'all? I know y'all got some questions. Y'all know this is a judge-free zone. We don't do that here. Go ahead.
I always thought the soul ties as negative, but I can see positive.
Yeah. Yes, because that's true. A soul tie can pull you neck up or down.
Yep.
It's a connection. Well, the thing we're coming from is we're talking about breaking those negative soul ties that keep you from your purpose, your God, your mates, your money, your ministry, what matters to your heart. But that soul ties, that is true. You can have positive soul ties also that will pull you into the right direction, that will pull you, and you stay connected to those. Those are called divine connections. And that's just like when people get married. Yeah. They do the tie thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or the sand. Those are ties. Those are connections. So yes, that's good. Thank you, Mother.
Thank you, Mama.
So I was gonna ask you too, why it's so hard to let go of soul ties?
That's good. Go, Tremaine.
We're because you connected to them. You're spiritually corded with them. Anything is hard to let go that you're attached to, that you're used to being around, used to being with, building relationship with. Like, it's gonna be hard.
But if you know they're not good for you, why did it take so long for you to let them go?
Me? Because I was disobedient and stubborn. I didn't want to. Let me tell y'all honestly about why I did not let go of my third soul tie. I'm not gonna talk about that part next week, but my third soul tie I did not let go because the people in the church told me he was my husband.
Stay right there, baby. Stay right there. I'm telling you, just keep talking.
The people in the church told me he was my husband. Now, why did they tell me this? Because we looked good when we went to church. We were a happy family when we went to church, but they didn't know when I got home, I had mental battles. I was being abused mentally, spiritually, emotionally. My kids were depressed. I was depressed. I thought it was normal, like I said again, because I grew up in a religious household where my father beat my mother in front of us. But even though I was in my right mind as an adult, I equaled it to it was okay. And because I trusted my leadership at that church, they said, this is your husband, choose your job. I held on for 5 years thinking he was my husband and he wasn't. It's what they thought because of how it looked. So that's why I tell in my book, I say, dear leaders, I'm about to read it.
Don't read it.
I'm going to read it because let me tell you something. That kept me bound. I love them to death now, but they after that happened, they got to a place to where they were like, ooh, if God didn't tell you to say it, leaders in ministry, don't say it. If God didn't tell you that them people was their spouse or their husband, don't tell them that because they'll be in years of negative.
ATWE, yeah, hell.
Lord, I can't find it. I ain't got my.
Where your glasses at, child?
Yeah, so
while you finding that, I would say also, I mean, it's the natural sense. You like somebody, you love them, you engage with them, you build, I ain't gonna say build, you start collecting the data, or sometimes deception come in. They come in as one way and then you change. And we sometimes, because of what you're tied to, if it's money, finances, if they're providing a roof over your head, if they're providing anything, sometimes you just can't jump out. People don't jump out because they don't know where they're going to go, or they feel as if they're stuck. And until you get new information, then you can change your destiny, your direction. But if that person or whomever, if it's hard to break something, it's because you have not found new information that would enlighten you to go to another direction. But 9 times out of 10, why it's hard to break a soul tie. I'm trying to think of a substance that's really hard to break. What's hard to break?
Break rubber. You can't break rubber.
It just bounced back, right? Okay, so a rubber element. So think about that. Let's get that vision. What things that are hard to break? You literally have to take something, and Miss Antoinette got something. We coming. You have to take something and bid it, or throw it, or here we go. Like she said, 2 papers. There has to be a hand here and another hand here that pulls it.
Yeah.
So the only why it's hard to break something, because when it came together, it's easy to come together, but it's hard to break something.
Yeah.
That's even when people get divorces. Everything is not simple. It's not. But they say it's cheaper to keep it. They made a song out of that. Because it's so much confusion, because it's easy. That's why he wants us to be mindful of who we connect with, because he said once you get with them, it's going to be hard to break out. Sometimes it's easy, but 9 times out of 10, that one, you're going to catch it. Let me get Miss Hines. Keep that, and we get Miss Hines. Okay, go ahead.
I can't find it. This is a copy version.
Okay. Miss Hines, go ahead. Well, you the next time.
So one of the reasons why I can tell you from personal experience why it was hard to let go. One was leadership was telling me one thing, and I trusted the leadership that I was under. 2, because I saw the potential of
That's
who
good.
they were supposed to be.
Good.
But the problem with it was my discernment was telling me one thing, but I'm looking at potential and saying, okay, but they got the potential to do this, they got the potential to do that. The problem came when the potential never met the reality. So then I'm trying to hold on to potential, but I'm negating reality of what I'm going through and what I see. So it took me a minute to get in the closet and pray, well, God, if potential ain't gonna never meet reality, then what is this? Because I feel the discernment to let go. So God, I need you to help me let go, break loose whatever is tied, because I'm seeing the potential. but that potential never lined up. There was no action to get to the potential. They was comfortable being within their reality, but here I am looking at their potential, and I got stuck on the potential versus looking at who I had in front of me.
Yep.
Tremaine.
That was good. That was like,
Like we smarter than God.
Because we what?
I said, why do we act like we so smart?
Because we're created in his image. Okay, let's get back to the point. Yes, because we are created in his image. And I actually was talking this, I forgot to whom, that God does give us creative ability, but we cannot make, as you've stated, we can't make somebody do something. You said something. I love it, but it can be discarded. Leadership. I see nothing now. Listen, I see nothing wrong. Leaders are like parents.
Yeah.
Just like if your mom, like my mom and dad, that they be like, you sure? you sure? This way. And they'll say that out of love.
Yeah.
Or they'll say that because they brought you up, or they know you, or they know you spiritually. And I'm still going to say this. I don't believe there's nothing wrong with leaders saying, okay, y'all are good. This is where, Lord, how can I put this? Because you know me, I see everything about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Take them completely. They're apostles now. Like,
right.
This is my brother.
They can't now, as she said, potential. Sometimes they can't see that you all can be together. Mm-hmm. But it's the work that people don't do once they leave the church.
Yeah.
It's just like if they said, I see you being a millionaire. Mm-hmm. But if you don't do the work
you're not gonna be one.
To be the millionaire, they can speak it all day. So who's to say that he was not supposed to be your husband? Just say, listen what I'm saying, babe. Listen what I'm saying. If he would have, with what he had, if he would allow God to change him. And that's what I'm saying. There are men and women don't allow God to change them in their potential so they can become to the purpose. But when time is allowed it, and like you said, you wasted that time, God, he shut the door. He had to close because it was murdering who you are. It was killing you. It was devastating your children. It was causing death to happen and not life. So I would say, because I think it was another friend, we was talking about it's a word, soulmates. Mm-hmm. Soulmates and soul ties. And I can't be like my mom and dad. They just met each other and that was it. And that ain't no fair, Like my ex, his parents, they just met each other and that was just it. I can't, that ain't my life. I wish it was just that one person. He'd be like, okay, let's get together. That ain't my life. And so now that question comes as, okay, if I meet this person, for those who are, in a battle, if you're divorced or single, and you're in that battle, okay, I'm with this person, they all feel they're going to have potential, feel like a soulmate. And then if we're not careful, we can connect that tie that keeps us from the one who God created. Well, how can I put this, Jesus? I don't know how to put this. Go ahead, Tremaine. I'll get to you. I'm going to throw it to you.
I'm good. Like, I'm off. I definitely still respect them as leaders, right?
No. You did good. You did awesome. What I'm saying is a lot of us get stuck in that. And as Ms. Hines said, because of what they said, they look like it. I had one that's like that. That's it. And I was like, but Lord, I don't see that. And I went along with what they said. I was like, but I don't see.
Yeah.
I see it, but I see it, but I didn't see it. I didn't have the fullness of it. And I was like, well, Lord.
We made a perception in our mind of what they could be if they decide to do this, and that.
That's so good.
Action got me because as women, we create a whole life that doesn't exist with the man that we're not married to in our mind. And then sometimes people add to the perception of what we want people to be. And because of that, everybody adds to, well, that's your husband. I'm talking about pastor inbox me and say, get a dress now. But then it works 2 different ways since you pointed that out to me. because we could no longer walk together and agree, God had to close the door.
Right.
But I believe if he would have submitted to God,
if
probably would have worked. But he didn't. He didn't.
Because you wanted the authentic will of God for your life because you were tired. Yeah. You say, you know what, this is what it is. So that means, here you go, the tearing started. So y'all was now going different directions. It couldn't keep y'all no longer together. But I believe it was a fight in the tear. Yes. My. Ms. Willie says, wearing different faces for different people. Absolutely right. I could not see it, Ms. Anthony. Ms. Shirley, they paint a pretty picture to the public. Listen, God will make that painted smear.
People are just starting to see that I wasn't as crazy.
Wow.
People are just starting to see that 2.5 years later. They paint a pretty, but they cannot pretend forever is what I
say. You can't hide.
Ever. So now it's looking like, man, she really wasn't. People have came up, she's really not. No, I'm not. But I stayed silent because God told me to stay silent. Because God, I wanted to expose him, right? But God was like, I'm going to do what I do in my timing concerning him. You don't need to expose nothing because I covered you when you didn't deserve to be covered. So then I had grace for him. But now people are starting to see that I wasn't as crazy as he painted me to be. Even leaders are seeing that now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss Shirley on here too. They met and they just got married. We can't be like them.
Yeah, Rob just got married, but I talked about that.
Oh, you did, but you too. In Jesus' name. So, oh Lord, hold on. Somebody texted me. It's Thursday.
Which Ashley is that?
I'm not sure. Where somebody answered something?
No, I was looking. Somebody sent me a direct message saying, wow. So I was trying to figure out if that was Ashley from my group.
And maybe, is she on here? Yeah, Ashley? We're not sure. Is she on here? Well, I see her, Ashley. Any more questions? Any more comments? Anything? Anything?
I would say to start the process of being cleansed of your soul tie, go to God. Absolutely. I literally got in my closet on my knees and cried, Lord, I need you to wash me. Whatever it is that got me holding on, take it from me.
Kill it, burn it right now.
Because I knew that it was killing me naturally, spiritually, emotionally, and definitely financially. So in order to get out, I literally had to get on my face. And when I tell y'all this, I mean it with everything in me. I got on my face in the closet. Lord, you're going to have to remove this from me.
Yeah.
Because I literally saw myself going down the wrong road. Listen, when you could be on your knees and in worship, or in your Bible and in worship, and a person come in and talking, and they supposed to be in the word too, that come in talking, you having a full conversation while you in the midst of worship, that was my biggest red flag. You want to distract me from getting in the face of God.
Yeah.
If I want to go to church, you don't want to go. If I want to go do, go support somebody, you don't want to do. Okay, Lord, hold up now. You played church when we first got together. Now you don't want me to be in the face of God, period.
That point.
Because then the more I grew in God, the more my discernment grew.
Yeah.
And to keep me distracted was what he was trying to do. So I had to literally go to God and say, God, I need you to remove it and wash me and make me new. Because I wanted everything that was in me that was yearning for him to be washed away.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to ask to be released from the tie and to be cleansed again. That was just my process now. So now when I speak of the narcissist, it's because I know what it took to get out of that. I know the confusion he was causing me in my head. I knew what he'll make you think. They'll say something to you and make you think you wrong, even though you got it in black and white. So I needed God to renew my mind and keep me through the process of being released from it. That's why I had to go to God and with my whole heart, sincere, ready to let go. Because you can't be halfway in and halfway out.
Right.
You got to make up your mind that you want to out. You really want to be out. There it is right there. That manipulation, boy, they'll get you with them words.
Yeah.
But I wanted God to cleanse my heart, my mind, and my soul. Yeah. That's why I went in the closet with my heart posture to say, I am done. Lord, wash me, make me new, and help me release what does not belong to me. Because I needed everything to be released. My money, my mind, my time, everything needs to be released. So when you get honest with yourself and go into the face of God and ask God to wash you, make you clean, and let you go from soul ties, make sure you're doing it with the posture that I am done.
Yes.
Because it's too easy to go to pedal back. Because especially a narcissist, they know exactly what to say, exactly how to manipulate back into your face. They know how to do all that. So make sure you're really ready to let go.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Holy Ghost. Did Ashley have a question? Because she wrote that she wanted to message to everyone. What is that?
Did you have a
What is she? I didn't know if someone had a question, a comment, a concern. If you got to say, Lord, is this a soul tie? It's a soul tie.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say. What is this? It's a soul tie.
She said she don't have no questions. Yeah.
Okay, darling. Yeah, if you got to say, Lord, it's a soul tie.
Like she said, when you make sure you're ready. Because remember, it took me three tries to break my last soul tie.
It's all right.
Yeah, he would always get to come back. So make sure when you close the door, you close the door. But we're going to get to that part next. Close it all the way.
I just want to say, young ladies on here, let's learn from, they say experience is the best teacher. Mm-hmm. Learn from what she went through when God tell us, because I think the older I got, the more wise I got, but learn from her mistakes. Now that you know the red flag, don't say, well, I'm going to do it, God, you're going to say, but no, learn from her mistake. So when God show you a red flag, know that it's a red flag, no matter whether you want him or not. And if God didn't tell you that was your husband, seek God. Like I tell Sonia, we got a list of, tell her, write down a list of things.
Go ahead, Mama.
Write down a list of things what you want in a husband. For real, ask all the questions. Ask all these questions. See, let me tell you. Wait, I'm trying to get up. Wait.
Oh, she got to show her face. Lord. Lord. Go ahead.
Go away.
Turn it back. There you go. Right there.
Just show my face. I love to show my face. Leave everybody else out. Let me see how. Oh, switch that. No, there I go. No, I want to say, like I said, I make told and get a list of things. Ask questions. When we was growing up, we ain't asked no questions. Then, like I said, I ain't know nothing about no soul time, nothing like that. Just me and my husband. But I'm just saying, ask questions. Ain't nothing wrong with asking questions. Then, like I said, listen to what this young lady said and learn from her. Don't say, well, I'm gonna do it. Look, just because it happened to her, it don't happen to me. But no, when God show you a red flag, believe God. We trust God, rely on God. And like I was saying, don't make the same mistake that I made or others make. When somebody tell you, like they said, that pot is hot, believe it. Because they've been there. People ain't just talking.
Listen, the pot hot. Just listen, but look, the pot hot. This was just. I just put a stove mitten on.
You don't want to go down.
Get a stove.
Yeah, but we don't want to go down the same. We don't go down the same road they go down. Listen and learn from them. Absolutely. And we go, like I said, the older I got, the more wise I got. And I'm listening more in tune with God. And we know God's voice. And we know our voice. And I don't care how we want that man to be our husband. God say he's not your husband. He's not. And then ask, is he husband material?
That part.
That part.
And just like it's ladies, he that finds a wife, he gonna find you. Let him find you. Don't go out there and get him.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. You got so many ladies now proposing to men. That is so out of order.
Oh, will not. So I went out. A young lady asked me that. We were just talking because she's going through too. She's divorced and she want to get back in. She wants to get remarried. And she says, "Like, when you propose to me," I said, "For what? No, man. That ain't morally, or that's not even God centered."
No.
So yeah, thank you for that.
Anybody who have a friend shouldn't let them do that.
You talking about creating a soul tie? That's a whole soul bed house. You make it a house now. You create a whole house, a horror house.
Ow.
And we just got to be careful. Like I said, the tide comes to tie you up from what God has orchestrated in your life.
Yes.
It's keeping you like she's questioning who you are, your identity. If it's keeping you depressed, like to a low state in your life, that's it. Miss Willie may say, I thank God when I made up my mind, told God it's time for me to get close to him. It will be 10 years. Bless you. 10 years in October. Come on. Let's clap our hands for Miss Willie Mae.
Yes.
That's awesome. And sometimes just God, he has a way of doing it. And we just have to be mindful. Listen, you rather get out of it whole than out of it in pieces. You rather get out of something whole. That means I still got something to work with, instead of you finally get out of it. And just like, it's crazy. Soul ties. This is why my spiritual father, he when we talk about this, sometimes it sounds weird, but it's the psyche of a person, that they're so passionate and obsessed that they kill you, that they want to take you out. And that's the way in their mind, that's love. And if you're tied to the wrong thing, and that's what happens, it wants to keep you from everything and everyone else, that it's literally going to destroy you. And that is not what God has orchestrated for our lives. That is not. So we have to be, that's why we have to expose ourselves to know new information. That's the only way you can get a revelation. You have to hear there's something new from new vessels. How did you get out? How did you see it? What was the signs? What kept you there long?
Yeah.
What, stuff like that. Or what was the door? What was the window? And most of the time when we're in the house of God, sometimes it's the potential, and it is our faith. It's our forgiveness. And forgiveness does not mean I'm going to keep, especially if I ain't married to you. Don't mean, hold up. Who said you supposed to stay? So we all have to get to that point. Somebody has something to say. I'm making sure anybody else got, come on now, it's good. Now it's waking up. Y'all waking up. Anyone? Anybody else on Soul Tie breaking it? Any questions, concern, testimonies, comments?
Somebody with some wisdom.
Wisdom. We got wisdom. We got some wisdom. Wise women on here. We got some very wise women on here. Anybody else? I got a song in my head, y'all. I gotta get it out. It's in my head.
I'm gonna have to share I can't share your group into my group.
Right. It's all right. You just we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out how can we do it. We'll figure it's a way. I don't know what the way, but we'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
Yeah, he will.
Is this mine?
Tranisha, your phone, you just